You ever see somebody who just doesn't fit on paper, but when the world turns upside down, they're the only one who keeps you safe? That's Eliza Tran for you. The day her discharge papers landed on the command desk, I swear, half the base exhaled like they dodged a bullet, except they had no idea who was leaving. Eliza was sitting there, quiet as always, waiting for her orders to go, barely a ripple in the noisy current of the base, until a voice crackled through the radio during a routine training scenario, cutting through the chatter like a knife. Is she still alive? The one who shot me last year. And just like that, the whole command room froze. You could hear the click of boots, the faint tapping of someone's ring on the console, and then the lieutenant whispered, "Is he talking about Sergeant Tran?" See, Echo 9 isn't your average assignment. It's that tense border region where every sunrise could mean trouble, and everyone keeps an eye out. Eliza was 31, a sniper with hands steadier than most men twice her age, but she'd gone months hardly saying a word, never joked, never joined cards, never really seemed present except when it came to her rifle. Her reviews said she was a top marksman, but not psychologically suitable for collaborative operations. Recommendation? Send her home, psychological discharge. She didn't argue. She didn't ask for a second opinion. Every day she just showed up, ran her drills, cleaned her gear, checked her kit, all business. Her teammates called her the mute scout behind her back, or the ghost, like some kind of inside joke. Every time teams lined up, she was the leftover, the odd piece that never fit the puzzle. Didn't matter if folks tried to whisper about her at night or poke fun at lunch, Eliza took it all in, didn't even flinch. She'd file away every comment, every snicker, like intelligence data for some mission only she understood. Twice, the base shrink sent her for evaluation. Twice, she passed. No PTSD, no red flags, just that same stillness that made the rest of us uneasy. Maybe it was how she could sit motionless for hours, eyes always scanning, always reading the room. Maybe it was the way nothing ever surprised her, not even when folks went out of their way to exclude her. Let me back up a sec. You ever seen good people treated bad, just 'cause they don't fit? That was her life every day. But on her second to last day, everything flipped. Outpost picked up UV interference, chatter about a possible attack on the western perimeter. Alpha team was already out, and we were short a long-range sniper. So, last minute, Eliza got tapped. Sent up to the West Hill with her M110. No fanfare. Nobody even bothered to wish her luck. She just slung her rifle, disappeared into the brush, and settled in. Same as always, not 10 minutes later, that enemy voice cut through again, speaking English with an accent, clear as day. Is she still alive? Small, black hair, the one who shot me last year. I still got the scar. Suddenly, the base went dead silent. If she's there, he said, he won't move and none of his men will. The first one to put it together was Lieutenant Morrison. Wait, was she in shadow line? Syria, last year. The corporal beside him whispered, she took out someone's eye and never bragged about it. Not once. More chatter. How did we never know this? On the radio, the enemy kept begging, tell me she's gone. Tell me she's not out there with that scope. And Eliza, sitting up there alone, just calmly slid around into the chamber, adjusted her scope, and, in a voice flat as the Nebraska plains, keyed her mic. Still here. 30 seconds of pure silence from the other side. And then, just barely audible, shit. That's when it hit command. Those missing months in her file, the blacked out ops, the reason her psych evals didn't make sense. Morrison started pulling up databases, searching for shadow line. Black ops, one operator missions behind enemy lines, files locked down so tight, even the base commander couldn't see them. Meanwhile, you could hear enemy voices on the radio, scrambling, talking in code, giving grid coordinates, pulling back. They were retreating. One sniper on a hill, and an entire assault force gone. Colonel Hayes, who'd been silent this whole time, finally stepped up and called her on the radio. Sergeant Tran, this is Colonel Hayes. How copy? Loud and clear, sir, she replied. Sergeant, who exactly are you? Pause. Wind rustling across the open line. Just someone who pays attention, sir. And you could almost hear half the room shivering. Here's the twist, though. You ever misjudge someone so bad you feel sick about it? That was us. Intelligence identified the enemy voice as Crane, A sniper so lethal he'd taken out 6 NATO personnel, never been caught, until Eliza. She'd taken his eye last year, sent him running, and now he was so scared of her he refused to advance. We had 2 choices: keep her and admit we'd nearly thrown away our best asset, or lie and say she was gone. But we didn't have time to decide. She spotted a flash on the horizon, movement at 1,600 meters. She squeezed off one round, dead calm, and thermal imaging showed the target vanish. Enemy comms exploded into panic, then faded to nothing. Lieutenant Morrison whispered, "Target neutralized." Eliza's voice, even, "Threat eliminated. Enemy forces withdrawing." The base commander set his coffee down, his hand actually shook. In 30 years, he'd never seen anything like it. One soldier, one shot, one battle averted. The clerk processing Eliza's discharge just stared, then tore up the papers right there. But it wasn't over. As radio signals died, Intel caught one last enemy message. The ghost is real. The stories were true. Nobody on base knew what that meant, not until Colonel Hayes used his highest clearance to access the blackest of Black Ops files: Shadow Line, Silent Thunder, Nightfall, every last one of them with the same operative, Eliza Tran. 12 missions, 12 clean results, 0 casualties on our side, 0 failures. But the real mark wasn't in the numbers, it was her methods. No boasting, no credit, never once asked for recognition. Just got the job done and vanished back into the crowd. That's when we all realized. We'd spent months thinking she was broken, when she was just built for a world we couldn't understand. Real deep cover operatives, they don't do small talk. They don't fit in with the guys playing cards. They're invisible by design. And we, geniuses that we are, nearly lost her. Colonel Hayes keyed the radio again. "Sergeant Tran, return to base." "And Sergeant, welcome to your new permanent assignment." She came back to base like she'd left, quiet, no drama. That night, a young private left her a package. Inside, a note: "You don't need anyone's recognition. Even your enemies fear you." Next day, nobody called her antisocial anymore. Instead, the questions started coming. How do you stay calm under pressure? What's it like taking a shot nobody else dares? Can you teach me? But Eliza never changed. She didn't hold court in the mess hall, didn't pin up medals, didn't need applause. She just did her job, same as always. Funny thing, though. From then on, whenever teams got assigned, squad leaders fought to have her. Training drills? People actually watched how she moved, how she read the wind, how she melted into the terrain. New recruits got told the story about the silent sergeant who once stopped a whole enemy assault with one shot. But ask Eliza about it, and she'd just shrug. Real professionals don't need applause. They don't want it. The best recognition is knowing you made the world a little safer for the folks who never saw you working. And that's the truth, you know? Sometimes the biggest victories are invisible. The enemy never came back to Echo 9. Word had spread. There was a ghost sniper on that hill, someone you didn't cross. Some legends are built on noise and ego. Others, on silence and skill. Eliza Tran didn't just survive, she became the one thing every soldier wants to be. A reason for the enemy to turn around and walk away. So maybe next time you run into someone who doesn't fit, remember. The quietest people sometimes stand between you and disaster. You just won't know it until everything's on the line. And maybe, just maybe, that's what real strength is: being ready, being steady, never needing the spotlight, just waiting for the moment the world finally realizes what you're worth. Now, tell me, have you ever seen someone written off, only to become the one person who saves the day? Type your thoughts below. Do we judge too quick? Throw away our quiet heroes? Is real strength about noise, or about the work you do when nobody's watching? Let's talk about what justice, courage, and quiet power really mean.